Actually go through with things that, number one, the virus itself was not isolated, right? When the vaccines were administered, we are assuming that the vaccines were supposed to actually deal with the immunity to the virus. When they were administered to animals, all animals died. All the animals that were actually administered that were supposed to be under surveillance for you to know what would you do to human beings. You start with animals. That's the proper testing process that you're supposed to do. All the animals died. And at the end of the day, the government were forced to actually sign it. It doesn't make any sense on many levels. For example, there is no way that somebody can enter into...
Some of them even know anything about isolation.
Well, but assumably they're supposed to actually do so through their Ministry of Health. Because the Ministry of Health has got scientists and professionals that know when there's a virus and you're buying vaccines, there are certain questions that you ask. For example, the regulators, they are supposed to know what right questions to be asked. And then you're also looking at a case where your national assets, why are they being piggybacked on just an agreement? Because your national assets are not supposed to. Remember, they belong to the state. You cannot actually do it as a private firm.
By the time you give up your military bases, your banking buildings, that means you have no say anymore.
We'll come into that.
Yeah, you have no say anymore over your country. Okay, let's go to the next point. What's it? We're going to AIDS?
Indemnification.
AIDS.
And this is about to make your blood boil if you're that kind of activist, right? It says, the purchaser, subsection 8.1, indemnification by purchaser. The purchaser hereby agrees to indemnify, defend, hold harmless.
Imagine.
Pfizer, BioNTech, each of the affiliates, contractors, subcontractors, licensors, licensees, sub-licensees, distributors, contract manufacturers, service providers, clinical trial researchers, third party to whom Pfizer or BioNTech or any of the... anybody who's connected to them will be held harmless.
You can't sue. You can't even begin to.
Now I'm trying to speed this up. If you see the lines, we'll go to 3, which is participation right. Each indemnity shall have the right to retain its own counsel and to participate in the purchaser's defense. So the country is under obligation to defend Pfizer, whether it makes sense or not. Let's put it in a South African context.
Have you ever heard of that before?
The Attorney General of your country has to go to the courts and say Pfizer did nothing.
And defend.
When Pfizer has said, we don't know what we're giving you.
Michael, listen to this. Do you know what it means to defend? When you're defending your country or defending someone, but you're defending the person who is causing havoc in the country.
Now, participate in defense at its own cost and expense, except as set forth below. The failure of the indemnity to give notice or timely notice or to offer to tender the defense of the action or suit pursuant of section 3.